Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Ritesh, and today I'm doing another podcast with a person who goes by the name Creative Sav on YouTube. If you haven't checked out his content already, please, I would encourage you to go through it because he's also doing Blender tutorials. They have been very informative for me when I started out product animation, so I absolutely recommend that you go on his channel. We talked about a lot of things during our call, mostly what it takes to make it in the field on your own as a freelancer, and how you can go on to build your personal brand, which is something we both are doing. And I absolutely had a great time recording this podcast with him, and I hope you guys find something useful out of this conversation. Right, everything's good?
Yeah, awesome.
All right. So yeah, I just wanted to thank you, man, that you agreed to do this, and I know we had to reschedule. So yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, sure thing, man. Like, I love what you're doing. First of all, I love your work. I just have to let you know, you do really dope work.
Thank you.
And then, like, you're doing something that I actually plan to do. It's one of my plans for 2023.
Okay.
To just talk to other creative people and just get into their minds, get into their process, how they go about stuff. So yeah, I love the fact that you're doing it. Big up, man.
Thank you, my man. And I recently, I think when I had just started out product animation, your tutorial was there was a tutorial that you did for I think a Nivea cream, I think.
Yeah.
For Blender EV,
like
I believe.
Beginner series.
Yeah. I think I had went through it, and I've just subtly gone through your work, but I never actually went on to your channel. I actually went on your channel much later, and I went through all of your content. Like I have seen your stuff every now and then. Like I saw that Nokia ad that you did, and I recently started following your tutorials. Like as I've been doing these podcasts. So yeah. So how are you, man? How is everything going with you?
Yeah, I'm all right, man. I'm good. I'm just making plans for next step. If you notice, I've not put out any content in a while on Instagram, YouTube. Yeah, I've just been figuring a lot of things out, doing some content strategy, making plans and stuff. But yeah, we're going to come in big and loud.
That's what I like to hear. So like before we actually get into the actual questions, so could you tell a bit about yourself? Like, what's your actual name for the first question?
Okay, yeah, my name is Savio Ogusanogu, right?
Okay.
I'm a Nigerian, so Creative Sav is from Savio.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that because I know I will screw it up. And was it always Creative Sav, or was it like a different username before, as most YouTubers have?
Okay. Funny enough, I don't know if I should be saying this, but if you go search my full name, right, Savio Okusanogo on YouTube, you'll find a channel with like 8 videos or so from 2017. First time I actually started YouTube. They are very, very cringe videos. I don't recommend anybody going to search for them. But yeah, that was my first YouTube channel. Okay. Then the Creative Sav brand was born. Then I now created a new channel to focus on creative and creativity stuff.
Okay. So I went through your Instagram and in general your YouTube content. So there's a lot of filmmaking, I believe. Like there's photography content. I believe you were into filmmaking before.
Yeah, like I've done a lot of things, man, over time. Like the creative space here. I think I started out with graphic design. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I was doing a lot of graphic design. Then I decided to port out. Actually, generally, I started in the tech space, building apps, right, in development space. Right. I was an app developer for like a year and a half. Then I decided to port into the creative space. I just wanted to explore. So I was learning graphic design. And then I said, let me try out photography. And I tried it out. The funny thing is I actually made money from this. And I actually tried this thing out professionally, right? I learned it. I went out, found clients and stuff. Then I moved to cinematography for a very long time. I was shooting videos. That's what people knew me for. Until I found animation. It was during the lockdown in 2020. I just had enough time to just focus on animation, and that was when I actually put my time into it. And that's what I do today. That's my main offering, animation.
That's actually very similar to my trajectory as I went on.
Yeah. I noticed it's similar to a lot of creatives.
Right. So I had started in 2016 as a freelancer with basically video editing and stuff, and just before the lockdown, I think, where I believe I started with product animation.
Oh, wow. That's fresh.
Yeah. So like, you just mentioned that you have studied graphic design. What did you actually go to a university to study something related to design?
No, not exactly. I went to university for engineering. Yeah,
Okay.
so I have a BSc, a B engineering degree
Right.
in electrical electronics engineering.
Right.
But it was during that time in school. Yeah, for me, school wasn't enough. I just wanted to explore and just try out other things. So I spent time learning all these things. But design was the first thing I spent time learning in school.
Right. Okay. That's a very similar story as well. I had started in school.
Are you serious? Wow.
Yeah, I'm in my third year as I'm speaking of college.
Wow.
Right.
That's really fresh, and you are doing this already, man. Big ups to you.
All right. I'll try to make this a little less about myself, but but anyhow. So what domain of 3D are you working in right now?
What do you mean by domain?
Like, do you specialize in a particular domain, or would you consider yourself as a generalist?
I wouldn't consider myself a generalist. Mostly, I spend time with product animation.
Right.
So everything from, I said I came from a cinematography background. So
Yeah.
I was always the director first guy. I just wanted to bring things together and make magic. That was my thing. That's why I'm not big on modeling. I like having everything ready for me, and I'm just waving the wand and making things happen. That's what I want to do. So yeah, I'm basically mostly into product animation right now. But
Right.
who knows what the future holds though.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, we're all planning as we're going, but like,
Yeah,
okay.
man.
But I went through your stuff, and it was quite visible. I think in the initial years, like were you inspired by like filmmakers like Sam Calder, or even if I'm pronouncing it right, other filmmakers?
Yeah, like I'm sure you saw some travel vlogs or some filmmaking
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, earlier on, like when I just started creating content on YouTube, like putting my work out there generally, I was heavily inspired by people like Peter McKinnon,
Right.
people like Casey Neistat's very big inspiration, people like Sam Koda, a lot of other really cool guys that they don't create a lot more. But Sam Koda was a big one. That guy was just epic, man. Like he's the GOAT. So these guys really made me want to create video in general. Yeah.
Okay. There was another one when I used to watch this kind of content, which was Ben TK. Have you seen this guy?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. I think it was one of the first to like incorporate mad CG into his video work, which was mind blowing, man. God damn, mind blowing.
I still don't understand some of the transitions that he did at that time.
Fam. And that was like way back then.
Yeah, it's been a very long time, and he was a very small channel as he started out.
Really, wow.
Yeah. So like, there's this one VFX post that you had posted, I think, a while back on your Instagram. So I just had so many questions about that scene. So I'll just read the caption to you, and maybe you will be able to recognize it. Hey fam, I just had I think it's about some VFX challenge. You took a Blender VFX work. So you're sitting in some kind of cafe.
On YouTube?
No, it's on your
on
Instagram.
YouTube.
Instagram.
Oh yeah. The one that I was sitting looking inside, yeah.
Right. So like, I just wanted to ask, like, were you recorded on a green screen for that, and you replaced everything in CG?
Yeah, that was the process. It was actually a tutorial, Reality X Lite. It was a channel
Right.
that started way back. I knew when they started the channel with like less than 200 subscribers. So they posted like a whole series for VFX, and I just jumped on it because there was nothing like that on YouTube at that time, nothing. So I just followed it and just made it mine, and it came out well. But funny enough, that was the last time I ever dabbled with like VFX. I just
Right.
focused on products after then.
You have mentioned in the caption that it's a bit janky, and it's insane that if you call that janky, because I couldn't have told that it's not on a real set.
It happens. The creator would see all the mistakes, right? But the viewers would just appreciate it for the art. But I know what I did. I knew the corners I had to cut to make it look like that. But yeah, thanks very much, man.
All right. So like since you were into VFX and I believe you still might be interested in it, like are you planning on learning Houdini and other softwares?
Houdini. Man, the dreaded name that we didn't talk about. Houdini, I have plans for that, yeah, but not concrete plans. Right. I've tested it out. I've had conversations with creatives like myself about it. In fact, I've probably watched hours of Houdini tutorials just to prepare myself for it, but I've not actually jumped into it. I think there would come a phase in what I do where I would need crazy simulations, where I would need intense things like lavas and sparks and craziness.
Right.
When I get to that point, then I'm definitely going to engage in Houdini for sure, but not right now. I don't have concrete plans for that right now.
Why I often ask any person who comes here, and in general, if it's an artist that I'm having a conversation with, Houdini always comes up for me because that's something I am very interested in, and like why I feel so motivated to probably learn it is because I feel that it's a harder skill to learn, and that makes you less replaceable.
Exactly, yeah. Exactly what I was saying in 2021, 2020, that if I live in Nigeria, yeah, and I was telling a friend of mine that if you can be number one Houdini artist that has actually mastered the software in this country, that the country won't be able to hold you, that you'll be too valuable because talented Houdini artists are very scarce because it's a very difficult software. And I know that I actually have potential for it because I have a development background. I actually know how to code.
Right.
From school, yeah. So the Vox part of it, the Vex part of it, the expressions part of it that people are scared of is actually something I'm used to. So I know I would be able to grab it pretty fast. But I've not just set out that time to learn Houdini yet. But I think you should, man. I think you should. I actually need Houdini artists around me.
All right. Okay, so how did you get exposed to product animation from VFX then?
I've had a big inspiration from ads, right? And that's why I'm in commercial space, right? Ads from people like Apple, number one, clean and fresh. People like Google, people like Microsoft. Have you seen some Microsoft ads, Microsoft design? Beautiful stuff. Like I love seeing work from studios like Tendril. This clean style, very fluid style. So those are things I saw that made me go, I want to be able to do this. You can do this with 3D, right? Cool. So let me learn 3D. So I wanted to do all that. So that's what inspired me. So I think I watched one tutorial after learning the basic of Blender. I watched one tutorial by Derek Elliott. Yeah, his phone animation tutorial. I just watched it from beginning to the end. So that's all I needed to know. And I just went on a rampage, man. I just started creating just small projects.
Yeah.
So that was the journey.
Again, that's pretty similar. Like we're on the same page there. Like
that's fresh. Where are you based right now then?
I'm in India right now. India, New Delhi.
Fresh.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. So like where did you initially go for work when you actually wanted to go professional in this?
Okay. Okay. The thing is, before I went into animation, like I said, I've been a freelancer for a while. I've been the business guy, the creative business guy. So as a designer, I made sure people knew me as a designer. I made sure people called me for work as a designer. So I already built that skill from design to photography to videography. So there was a point I had to even cut off all my design clients when I was moving to video. I said, guys, I no longer do design. If you need video, call me. So I knew how to express myself, so I gained people's attention. So when it came to animation, all I needed to do was shout about it, that hey guys, I'm the animation guy now. Wake up the next morning, Sav is the animation guy. Remember this name, I'm the animation guy. So that's what I was doing. I was just creating little stuff, sharing, Instagram, WhatsApp, everywhere. I just made people know that I'm the animation guy. So over time, people just believed it. Yeah, Sav is the animation guy. So it was basically word of mouth. Yeah. So if someone needed something, Sav was the animation guy. And especially Instagram, social media, I always advise people to put their work out there. Like it's my biggest advice when it comes to like the financial part. Put your work out there. People will find you. Just share, right? Without expectations, just share every part of the process. People want to see it. That's how I find most of my clients. mostly Instagram, YouTube, or sometimes word of mouth, or word of mouth from someone that has found me on Instagram. You get? So yeah, so from that, people start seeing that, oh, this guy is always posting animation stuff. He's like, he's an animator. Let me talk to him. And that's, since I already had the skills of talking with clients and all that, I just moved into animation.
So like, was the growth gradual, or did you experience some exponential growth at some, was it something specific that you did that actually blew you up? Something like that?
Are you talking about in terms of the creative business?
Yeah.
Okay. It was, I don't think it was exponential. I think it was gradual, right? But for 3D, I wouldn't, it was somewhere in between gradual and exponential in terms of 3D. I know I still have a very long way to go when it comes to this creative business, because I've seen some budgets that some studios work with, and I'm like, wow.
Right.
Right? Like when you hear people like Chris Do talk about when he was working in blind, when he was running blind, and the kind of budget he was getting from like Microsoft, Xbox, you know that there's a lot of room for growth and improvement. But for me, starting out, all I needed to do was to just understand the market. I needed to understand what people that were creating my level of work were charging. Right. And I was just always pushing the boundaries. Even till today, I'm just trying to push the boundaries and push the boundaries. So over time, it will be a gradual process. You will look back and say, wow, I've actually 10x, 15x how much I charged when I was starting.
Right.
So I think it's more of a gradual process.
Right. So we're naturally coming to the question. So how much do you usually charge your clients right now?
I was dreading that question, but I knew you were going to ask, because I watched the episodes that you did
Right.
with Derek.
I think this is one of the questions that the audience wants to know more than anyone else.
Yeah. So right now, I think the max I've ever charged for the animation, product animation, is around $5,000. Like max. Yeah, I know I could do more over time, but it's somewhere. Like Derek puts it, my bread and butter is somewhere between $2,000 and $3,000. Right.
Right.
$4,000.
I think he mentioned 10,000 USD.
Fam, I was watching that show, and when he said 10,000, I had to pause and be like, man, it's crazy. But then we are talking about different levels. Yeah,
of course,
it's operating at a different level. So I know that it's just time and building the skill, building the connection. I will just get there. So for me, that's what I charge for, like a 30 seconds to 1 minute animation, product animation. Mostly 30 seconds. I don't like rendering a lot of frames. Right. So I just stick to like short animations. Yeah, for now.
I think that's why that question is more important. Is it actually gives you a lot of perspective as well, that you might be thinking that this is only worth this much.
Yeah.
But when you hear that number, that what professionals are charging, which happened to me, is when you're like,
exactly.
Because you have to do 10 times the work if you want to earn that much, where you can just do one project.
Exactly. Like what you need to understand is just what makes them that valuable. What are they doing that makes them command that amount per project? So when you understand that, and you now build yourself to get to that level. Is it their branding? Is it how they speak? Is it the fact that they are creating content online? Because I know, for example, that if I have 100k subscribers, I definitely won't be charging $5,000. Are you kidding me? I'm charging a lot more, because I command more attention and more influence, right? So those are the things I am constantly working on. So it's just a gradual process. This podcast we're having now, we are just time stamping what I charge at this very moment. So it's a growth process.
Yeah, we'll follow up with another podcast maybe a year from now, and we're gonna
yeah, man. That would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be nice. That would be like a, what do you call it? A time capsule yeah. Okay, sounds great, man. So I just lost my question that I had in my mind as we were talking about it. But yeah, give me 1 minute.
Yeah, sure.
Well, this is a bit off structured, but like, so I went on and asked on my Instagram whether what questions they might have for a professional, and 2 or 3 responses came, honestly, because I'm a very fresh channel at the moment. But one question stood out, like, which was, if you are a CG artist and you are freelancing, or whether you are in a corporate, what other skills would you be expected to know other than just the softwares?
That's a very, very smart question. Wow. That's a very smart question. Funny enough, in my video ideas list, I have a list of video ideas. There's a video I titled "One Skill is Not Enough," right? There's a video I actually want to cover this on. So for me, I would use myself as an example. One thing that has helped me in this space, apart from, in fact, software is like the lowest level of skill you need to have. People don't know this. People think that when they just learn the software, they are good. That's just the number one. That's just the first thing you need to understand. But when you learn the software, then you need to understand design principles generally. Because I've seen a lot of people that are so good at modeling, they are good at making textures, but putting things together is what they don't know. And that's where my design background helps me out a lot, because I have this thing now where I see something bad, I just know it. And there are a lot of people that they don't have the experience to see that. When I see a design that even I made and it's not just working, something is off, I get this feeling, because over the years I've made my eyes get used to good design, right? So design principles generally, understanding composition, understanding colors, understanding framing. And then if you are going into animation, understanding a little bit of cinematography, that's like what lens should I use, how to frame, and different things like that, camera angles, and then learning negotiation, especially if you want to run it as a freelancer or as a business. Negotiation is one of the biggest things you need to learn. That's why Chris Do talked about it a lot. So if you learn negotiation, you'll be able to command higher prices. You'll be able to understand what you value, what your value is. You'll be able to talk to clients with confidence. You'll be able to say, yeah, $5,000, and just keep quiet.
Right.
Not fret, because you are used to negotiating. Right. And I think the other thing would be like business and administration skills, like knowing how to write an invoice, knowing how to budget, knowing how to calculate your profits, your revenue, the business expenses, and all that. That's something I do, something that is very important, something that I will teach people how to do in the future, but I've not included it in my content yet. So those things are very important. Apart from software, design skills, cinematography skills, negotiation skills, business skills.
Funnily enough, all of these skills are like almost always caught on. I believe you cannot really teach someone unless they were in that place. Like these soft skills, where if they don't need
experience them, based.
Yeah,
they're experience-based skills. Like over time, whether you're working for a studio in a corporate space or you are running your thing yourself, over time you develop these skills just by learning and watching.
Right. So would you do you consider yourself as a freelancer right now? Are you full-time freelancing?
Man, that question is tricky, right? Like whenever I have to fill a form and they say, "What's your occupation?" I just pause for a second, because what exactly is my occupation? Am I a YouTuber? Am I an animator? So I don't actually consider myself a freelancer. I consider myself a business owner.
Right.
That's the way I think about it. I'm a business owner, even though I do most of the things right now, but mostly in a project, I don't handle any of the modeling. Okay. From day one, I outsourced all the modeling from day one for my first project. So I outsourced modeling and I outsource voiceover, like voiceover artists. I pay them for their work. So the rest of the work, that's like setting up the scene, rendering, animation. That's where I come in, the creative decisions and all that. So over time, right, I plan to have a team of people to handle different aspects, because I really want to focus on grand ideas, like doing big things that me myself just can't do it alone. So over time I would expand the team. So I consider myself a business running a studio. That's why you wouldn't see freelancer in any of my profiles. Usually business owner, I run a studio and all that. Yeah. But that's what I do full time. Like that's the only thing I do right now for the last year and a half or so that I've been doing it full time, because I graduated from school in 2019. So 2020, 2021, 2022, wow, 2.5 years I've been doing it full time.
That sounds great. we have the same timeline again. I've been in product animation for about 2 years now.
Wow. Okay. Cool stuff. Cool. So we need to collaborate more, because I've seen your work, and the angle you come from is something that would blend with the style I come from, because you do some crazy, I don't know how to describe it, man, but your work is phenomenal.
Thank you so much. And yeah, I would love to collaborate. We can definitely cook up some ideas.
Yeah, awesome, man, awesome.
So, wow, I'm losing my chain of thought today. What the hell? Like I'm getting 3 questions as you're speaking, and I'm just losing it.
Yeah, you should probably note them down. That's something Chris does. Is always writing on
Right.
his podcasts, always noting his questions.
Okay, so like, how is your life looking right now with doing everything on your own? Does it ever get super hectic and you burn out?
Man, burnout. I think burnout is just part of the process, man. And a lot of people coming up, they don't know. People that are just coming into the space, they don't know that it's just part of the process. It will hit some people, and they will just think like the world is ending and they are in the middle of the world and nobody cares. But it's just part of the process. I think
Right.
the important thing is to have people around you that are also creative, that also experience it, that you can share your problems with, and they will just tell you that, dude, just chill, just play a game or watch a movie for like 2 days, you'll be all right. So it's good to just have people around you. Burnout is part of the process, man.
Right.
Especially when you have a big project, something that you really put your sweat into and your creative juices. Sometimes nothing won't just flow. Ideas won't just come. That thing has happened a lot of time, like a whole day. I will start asking myself, am I actually Creative Sav? Am I not just Sam? Right? So,
Okay.
but then I just have to give it time, right? Sometimes I think about ideas for like 2 weeks before I actually execute. But when I do, it usually comes out great.
That's good. So like, well, what does really happen when you feel burnt out? What have you figured out one thing that would pull you back up?
For me, it's taking breaks, honestly. I just need to get out of that space for a while. Just it's hard to do, especially if you have a deadline.
Right.
But I at this point I trust myself to the point of, even though I have 4 days deadline, right? I trust myself enough to take 2 days out of those 4 days to do something else, to go out, hang out with friends, watch a movie. Even though this thing sounds crazy, especially for someone that is not like a creative, it sounds very crazy. Like, why the hell should I be watching a movie when I have a deadline? Because my thought process is not flowing. I need to
Right.
distract myself. I need to break the pattern in my brain. So I usually go out, take a walk, have a conversation with a friend. Maybe you have a friend that you can talk to about whatever we are going through. You just talk to that friend. You could play a game. When I play a game of like probably Halo or some racing game for like an hour or two, my brain just resets. Like I'm in the mood to work now, because I feel bad for playing a game. So I just want to work. So yeah, that's my process. Just distract myself.
Okay. So taking breaks, it is like it happens with me when I'm like, there are some burnouts which just feel like they paralyze you, and like you feel like, can I just figure out this one thing which will work for me every single time? Yeah. So anyhow, when a client, let's say, when a client approaches you for a project, and what does that process look like? What happens right after they have asked about a query?
Okay. So my process changes over time, right? I try to adapt and grow and learn from lessons. But as at now, my process is usually I don't want to get to the price to money talks immediately right now.
Right.
So when you ask me for a project, or if you ask me exactly how much do you charge, I would try to dissuade you from the question, or I might just answer you and get it out of the way. But most times I would like to talk about your needs. And I like telling my clients these days, I just tell them, you might not need 3D animation. That's why we are having this talk. I'm not trying to get this money from you. I'm trying to see if I can help you. If I can't help you, I would either refer you to someone else that can help you, or I will tell you that, see, this is not your problem. You actually need a web designer. It's your website that's your problem. It's your social media content, copywriting, whatever, that's your problem. So that's the angle I take it from. I try to find their problem. What is actually wrong with the brand? Why do you need this video, right? If you need the video just because your competition has a video too, I'm not inclined to work with you. I would actually dissuade you from working with me. But if you need it for a reason that you have seen that there's a problem, we actually have a conversation, a discovery call. This usually happens on a call, and I figure out that, oh, there is this problem. You are not having enough attention on your brand. Okay, your branding is good, your social media designs are good, but everything just seems monotonous, everything seems the same. You need to do something disruptive. Okay, that's the problem. This is how we are going to fix it. Can we fix it with animation? If yes, we'll find a way and a strategy. Then after doing that, then we talk about pricing. Yeah, so I have my minimum that I can't go past, which is 2K, and that 2K can be a 15 seconds animation. It depends on the client and what their problem is, right? So the 2K can be a 30-second animation. It depends on what they are trying to solve. So if it's a problem like where they need a series of assets to run ads for something, yeah, I'll just give them a quote. This is what we'll be working with. If they can work with it, we'll just move forward with it. Most times, what I've noticed is that some clients, their problem is not the content. Their problem is their marketing. They have not figured out this marketing, because I might give you the sweetest animation ever, but if you have not figured out how to distribute and how to share, do your marketing and get sales, it won't be useful in the hands of the clients. So I like getting that out of the way. Do you have a marketing process? Because I wouldn't like to create something dope. I wouldn't like to spend weeks creating something beautiful and then to just fall flat. It wouldn't make any sense. So yeah, that's why I like to find what the actual problem is.
Yeah, that's something I notice about a lot of brands. Like, most of the brands actually cannot even, first of all, fund product animation, and secondly, and when they really do, it's usually about where their competitor is also doing the same, and they just want to experiment with a few videos, and they think that's what's going to blow them up.
Yeah, no, different brands have their different. Depends on who you're talking to, right? You can be talking to a brand like that and you just help them out. Depends on whatever circumstance you're in. Right. But I wrote down a profile for my ideal clients, right? Me personally, my ideal clients should have their marketing figured out. They should already be running ads. They should already be making money. Right. If your client is making 300K every month, 500K every month, they have no problem paying you 10K. Right. But if they are not making money yet, and they are probably using their salaries to fund the business, at that point it's going to be difficult. That's why they would tell you you're charging a lot, you're charging too much, right? It just depends on who you are talking to, actually.
Right. So like I think that's also because you cannot just do one video about one product. Another product launches, you have to maintain that standard of branding, and product animation can be expensive.
It can be. It can be.
All right. Like, so have you ever explored freelancing websites to get work?
Nope. Right now, okay. I've never made any money from Fiverr or Upwork, but I've gone there to find talent. I've gone there to find voiceover artists, designers. I've not found a 3D artist there because I have connections with people that I know, people like you, right? I can just talk to you. But apart from that, especially voiceover talent, I've spent a lot of money. On Fiverr. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so like it's safe to say that all of your work came from probably all social media.
Yeah, outbound marketing. Me basically putting myself out there. Yeah.
Did you ever explore cold mailing anyone? Cold reaching out?
Yeah. Okay. That's something I've not actually integrated into my business yet, but I plan to. I'll probably have to talk with someone that's a professional, because I feel like I know the process, right? The process of finding the key people in that industry and getting their emails and reaching out to them. That's the right way to do it. But in April 2022, I experimented with something. I plan to DM 100 brands, cosmetic brands specifically, on Instagram, and I DM'd 75 of them. And I got replies from like 12.
Okay.
Out of 75, I got a reply from like 12, and like 80% of the replies were like, "Oh, sorry, we don't need this now. Oh, sorry, it was just a sorry no answer." But like 20% were like, reach out to us via email or talk to this person. Yeah. So, well, I've not actually gotten a job from there, and I think the relationship dynamic is different when you reach out.
Right.
When you reach out, it's a this is me, I want to help you, how can I help you? A lot of people have figured it out, and props to them, because it's actually a great way of getting clients. But when a client reaches out to you, the dynamic is totally different, right? You have all the power to say yes or no,
right?
And they are coming to you, so you know they definitely need you they absolutely need you for them to actually be coming to you. So it's a different dynamic. That's
Right.
why I'm focusing on like creating more content right now and like getting more work done, because it's just a better experience working with people that came to you instead of reaching out to them.
Makes total sense. You don't have any, first of all, power in negotiations if you're reaching out to
Yeah.
them. And it's also a lot more difficult to find a loophole whether they really need you or not. There needs to be something
Yeah.
wrong.
It's a game of numbers. It's a game of numbers. You'd have to have reached out to a lot of people. Then you find that Easter egg. And then the Easter egg might be what changes your life, actually. I've heard many success stories, but it's actually a long process.
Right. Okay. So you initially mentioned that what I do is something that you want to explore in the future. Are you already not doing the same thing as me?
Yeah, I am. Like I'm just talking about style, in
Okay.
terms of
Okay.
like specific style. Yeah.
Okay. My,
Like
my
if you notice,
Mhm.
I've been trying to like expand my. I have a specific style, the clean Apple like style.
Right. Right.
That's my style. But then I've been trying to do more. If you look at some of the works I've put out, probably not on my. Okay, I've probably not put them out yet. I've been exploring character animations. Like what I'm currently working on right now is actually character based and environment based, building sweet looking environments. That's what I've been trying to do now, putting the products and the characters in dope looking environments. So yeah, in the next 1-2 months, just watch out for what I'm putting out. It's going to be a little bit different.
Yeah, I'm up for it, man. I'll be on the lookout for your channel. And like
Yeah, man.
I just noticed like you had posted a story yesterday that you had stacked up 3090s together. Uh, First of all, I just want to ask you, what are your computer specifications right now?
Yeah, my personal computer is it's a laptop. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a Asus ROG Zephyrus G15, but not the maxed out specs. It has a RTX 2060,
Okay.
6 gig of RAM and 16 gigs of RAM and 500 gigs SSD. Yeah, that's what I'm rocking now. But that specific one was actually a render farm. A lot of people, a lot of people replied it like, "What? Are you kidding me?" It's actually a render farm. Like Snap Render, they reached out to me via email. They were like, "Hey, Sav, check out our product." So they gave me access to it. So I've been testing it out, and I would make a video about it. And bro, how do I even, where do I start from? Like the difference is clear. Rocking 3090s, the difference is mad clear. But
Right.
don't worry, I'll make a video about it.
But does the difference really relate? Like, what if you had only one 3090? Is it really making sense that stacking up 3090s makes sense?
Yeah, thanks for that. I didn't actually consider that. I think I should do that. I should test that. I think I should test that because I didn't test that. I just tested it compared to my RTX 2060.
Right,
A
right,
very
right.
large amount of samples. But I think I should do that with their render farm. I should test just one
Yeah.
and test the 6 to see if there's a noticeable difference. Because I think the difference comes in at scale. Like if you have 12 gigs of VRAM for one and you now have 6, you can build entire worlds and it will be able
Right.
to render it. You can build a very large scale. I think that's the biggest thing for me. That scale can pack a lot of geometry, a lot of things in your scene and to just render it like a breeze.
Yeah,
That's
specifically,
the
you can
biggest
use
thing.
like 8K textures and it wouldn't have a problem.
Exactly. You can use very high quality textures and to just breeze through it.
Right. So I also went from like GTX 1050 to 3080. So I saw like an insane amount of difference.
Crazy. RTX 3080, mad, man. You're rocking the machine, man.
Yeah, I used to, so like 80% of my work used to be in Blender EV. And then
Okay.
because I could not afford to go with cycles with the deadlines I had.
Same, guys, same. If you noticed, the popular tutorial I made, the product animation series, was Eevee.
Yeah.
Because at that time, I think I don't think I even had a GPU. No, I didn't have a GPU at that time. I was just rendering CPU. Right.
Okay.
So that was all I could do. So my focus was optimizing Eevee to look good. Right. But then after then, when I got a better PC, then I started to experiment with cycles. Yeah, I actually experimented with Octane, Blender Octane too, which is actually really cool. It's just a different zone on its own.
Like, yeah, there's a lot of comparison about render engines. And like, I mean,
Yeah,
with Eevee, I mean, yeah, I have seen that dark scenes usually work incredibly well with Eevee, but like there
true.
are insane amount of things that Eevee is just not able to do at all. uh,
Reflection,
yes,
caustics, all that.
right. And
Well,
when
you should check out Octane, though.
yeah, that's
Check out
something I
Octane.
really want to learn, but I've been trying to source out some like credible source where I can learn it from to use it with Blender.
Yeah,
It's because it's very
it's free.
and it's free. Okay, that's something I
It's
didn't
free.
know.
Blender Octane. It's a separate, like it's a separate Blender version you download that has Octane installed with it. So when you click the drop down, you would see EV cycles of Octane.
Okay, I'll
Yeah, so you
definitely check
connect
this
to
out.
the Octane server. Yeah, try it out. It's really cool.
All right, I'll maybe ask for a link, or maybe I'll just
Yeah,
look
sure,
it up.
sure.
All right, because I there is a lot of comparison, and people usually say render engines don't make a lot of difference, and the same goes for 3D softwares. But I don't exactly agree with like because different softwares, different render engines do give very different results, and even the process looks very different. Like Octane is usually used for product animation, and it has a certain look which I believe Cycles is not really able to perfectly mimic.
Yeah, I did a test. On if you check my Behance, I made a project when I was working on an urban decay project. You'd see that I did a test to render. I did a lot of tests to render cycles versus Octane.
Octane.
They both looked good, yeah, but I just prefer the Octane. There's that look that we have come to recognize from seeing professional work,
Right.
like from people that have done real good stuff over the years. So there's that look it has, and when I rendered that cosmetic video, I could see that this is different. It just feels like you could touch it. There's something about it, though. But for me, it depends on you, though. You can get a similar look in Cycles or with V-Ray or with some other render engine, but I think you should first of all stick with what is available to you and master the one that is very available to you, because you might be doing something and you don't know that there is a secret button that you just need to click and to make a lot of things better. Like for the longest time I wasn't doing any compositing in Blender. Right? Like adding glare, like adding a glare node in compositing or something, just make it pop. So when I realized that, I was like, I've not been utilizing Cycles as much as I should. There's a lot of things like in Octane. There's a lot of settings in compositing that you can mess with that will just transform the look of your render. So it depends on you, though. It depends on you. Just stick with what is available and master it.
Right. But it's like about Cycles, I just, even if I see anyone's work at all, it's like listening to an Avicii song. You can always tell without even looking at the label. You can tell it's an Avicii song. And it's the same with Cycles. I can always tell that it's a cycle render because it has that noise, even though when you have the highest amount of samples.
Especially for Eevee, I could blink and tell that that's definitely an Eevee render.
Right.
It has this look.
All right. So like
But don't you use the denoise feature?
I do, but like I've been rendering.
Okay.
What's your samples like? How many samples do you usually use?
Yeah, I usually use the denoise feature, right? So anywhere between somewhere around 200. 200 is my bread and butter when it comes to sampling.
Bread and
200
butter.
samples. Yeah, like sometimes I go lower if I don't have any time and it's not like a big project. I can even go lower 100 or even lower than 100. But if I have, like for example, using that render farm, I took my rendering up to like 500. I haven't tested with 2000 just to see if it made any much difference.
Right.
Yeah, but 500, if you have the machine for it, 500 would be very good. Plus
Right.
the denoising.
I think what I've noticed is like when you have scenes which have a lot of light, and specifically white light, they don't require a lot of samples. Even if you can, if you have the optics denoiser, you can get away with 50 samples and it's looking like it's 4K.
A lot. You can get away with a lot of things. If it's like a simple product animation with like smooth looking products with a smooth clean background, bruh, you can take it as low as you want.
Yeah. and when it comes to like interiors, I've been working on a interior scene recently, and even 200 doesn't do it for it, because like it's a much darker scene.
Yeah.
All right, man. Yeah. So like, what are your future plans looking like right now? What are you planning to do?
Hmm. Uh, right now, I got a space, right, a new space to like set up my studio, right. So I want to like use the entire space for a studio, like have a proper studio, and I'm taking inspiration from people like Marquez Brownlee. His ginormous studio. But
Yeah.
obviously not as big as that. It's actually a very small space. But I just want to have a dedicated space that, I've been working from home, basically. I made a tweet about this, that I no longer want to work from home, and I want to live at work, right? I want to make the entire space to be a workspace.
Right.
So anyone that walks in wouldn't say, "Oh, nice sitting room, nice living room." They will say, "Wow, nice office, nice workspace." It will be designed in that way.
Right.
And in the future, I want to create a lot more open content, if you know what I mean, right? Like if you go back on my channel, you realize that Blender animations is something I started recently, like beginning of 2021. Right, I'm an interdisciplinary creative. I've been doing a lot of things over time, so I want to really push my channel in the talk to creatives generally, because I can relate to photographers, I can relate to designers. I've been there. I can relate to a lot of people. So I'm trying to create contents that will be able to reach a lot more people, and I'm trying to share more. These are the plans I have, right? Like share more about the intricacies of the creative life, especially how I run my creative life when it comes to business, when it comes to like pushing past the creative block, when it comes to daily routines and all that. So that's something I plan to do. I don't know if my audience would be happy about it. I don't know if they'll start screaming in my comments, "We want tutorials. We need more tutorials." They might actually do that, but it's something I actually want to experiment with and just see where it goes.
Right.
So watch out for that, man.
Yeah, I've been quite scared about that as well, because I mean, I'm still a very fresh channel, but like I used to just do tutorials, and now I have switched to podcast with tutorials. So that's something scary. Like, what's gonna be the reaction?
Yeah, just go for it. Honestly, just go for it. You're even in a better place because you have not really solidified what the channel is about yet, right? Even me, I'm still a very small channel, right? It's K subs is still very small, compared to like the grand scheme of things. So
Right.
as at this point, if I create something viral, for example, and in the next 3 months I get to like 50K subs, those guys would know me for that thing that went viral, right? They might not know me for animation, right? You get. So I'm just going to spread my creative wings. The goal is to just give as much as possible, just flow and give as much as possible. So I have a podcast I actually want to start, where called Creative Faces. Yeah. So something like what we are doing is just that we're going to flip the scene. I'm going to be on the other side. You're going to be on the side. So yeah, I just want to talk to I want to talk to like creatives all over the world that do different things, not just animation, to understand their struggles, how they are overcoming it, how they are going through their life. Just for me. In fact, I'm not even doing this podcast for my audience. I'm doing it for me. I want to learn from them. I want to pick their brains and try to apply some stuff. So, and I will also share it so other people can learn also. So those are my plans right now.
That's exactly the same reason why I'm doing this podcast, is because I just want to communicate with minds, because I cannot find people in person who actually have the same interests as me.
It's hard to do, man. It's hard to do, especially when you live in a developing country like Nigeria.
Right.
You would have to travel far to find people that are actually mastering animation, or people that are in your space.
And that's the same as like, yeah, that totally makes sense. Like, I'm living in India, and there are very few people where even most of my clients actually come from United States, or like
same,
right?
All of my clients come from the US.
Right.
Same.
Yeah, so I mean, that's all I had for you, man. But like, this conversation can go on for forever.
Yeah, like I realized we are very similar in our journey, our story, and what we are currently doing. So yeah, I'm open to do a collab with you, man. And that would be really cool.
I would love to.
Collab,
man.
like we are doing a collab right now, right?
Yeah.
Technically. Since I'm showing up on your channel, but I would like to bring you on my channel sometime in the future. Just do something cool.
That would be great, man. Yeah, totally.
Awesome stuff.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. We can just pick a project and let's see what happens in the future.
Yeah, man. I need to figure out this collab thing, because I don't think I figured it out yet. I've been doing most things by myself, especially the creative part of it. So I want to know how it will feel to have an idea that is so grand that just one mind can't come up with it, and we
Right.
just have to like execute on it. So yeah, let's do something crazy, man.
All right. Sounds good. So yeah, that's all I had, man. And thank you so much for doing this with me. I absolutely had a great
Yeah,
time.
thank you, man. Thank you very much. Sorry, how do I pronounce your name before we leave?
My
Let
name
me know.
is my name is
Richard.
Ritish. Ritish.
Ritish.
Yes.
Ritish. Yeah. Nice talking with you, Ritish, man.
Same here, man.
Have a wonderful time.
You too, man. Have a nice day. Thank you. Bye bye.